Algo melhoramos, después se esa parte no necesitamos.
Wow, Peru, a strong earthquake just hit. And guys, this is a developing story. We're just getting reports from the locals. So, and that is not good. We hear of collapsed buildings, people lost, animals lost, and people missing as well. Shallow earthquake has struck Peru, and the situation coming out, especially of Junin, is becoming increasingly serious, I have to say. USGS has the earthquake at magnitude 5.5, some say 5.1. Don't think I'm like, because we're unfortunately used right now to the bigger ones we just had in Mexico, magnitude 7 plus earthquake. But guys, depending on where it is, how the buildings are in this area, this can be catastrophic. We know if Naples is hit by anything 5 point something, this will be an absolute disaster. So that's why probably we have a problem here. Roughly shortly before 9:30 p.m. at night, it was already dark. This earthquake hit the Chupaca area near the Chongos Bajo, so not far from Huancayo. You see it on the map. Depth was just 24 kilometers, so a little bit, roughly 16 miles. And this is an inland earthquake. This is not an offshore earthquake. That's why people felt it so strongly. Shallow inland earthquake capable of producing very strong shaking directly beneath the communities. And where the shaking happened, where the epicenter is, there are densely populated communities around, unfortunately. So that's exactly why this event is drawing so much concern tonight. And when I look at social media posts from locals that show us the videos that you see in the background, they really say we need help. There's people missing. There's people in collapsed buildings. So it doesn't look good. I don't think like whole cities have collapsed. But local reports now say there is serious structural damage in several affected districts. Residents are reporting collapsed adobe homes, power outages in Chongos Bajo, injured people, affected animals, and in some location, even trapped individuals. And it's dark. That's the problem, power outages. So that's not good. So that's we see on social media from locals. Urgent calls for helps are now coming from communities, including Pumpunya and nearby areas. Pumpunya, I don't know how you pronounce that, but at this point, the full extent of that damage is still developing. But this no longer looks like a routine moderate earthquake. So it's definitely not. The reports that are coming out of the epicentral area, they tell us, or we have to say they suggest to us that the quake may have hit vulnerable communities hard, unfortunately. So what makes this more concerning is the intensity of the quake, right? Around where we have the epicenter, the region around the epicenter near Chupaca, the shaking is being estimated at intensity 7 of the modified Mercalli's scale. This is very strong shaking. So that level, want to make that clear, is powerful enough to crack weak structures, to topple adobe walls, bring down parts of homes, and absolutely trigger localized collapse, especially in older rural construction. And that was not it. The ground moved again. We already have aftershocks, magnitude 3.7, shortly after at 9:45 p.m., just 17 minutes after the main earthquake. Depth a little shallower, 18 kilometers, roughly like 12, 13 miles. And it occurred 9 miles, 14 kilometers southwest of Chupaca. On its own, I have to say this aftershock, of course, is not large, but after a damaging, stronger, shallow quake, even a smaller aftershock is important because this can bring down the structures that have already been hurt by the first one, right? Buildings that are already cracked, destabilized, they can fail in this second round of shaking. So that means Right now, the danger did not end with the first shock. We're not surprised about this. Probably we will see maybe smaller aftershocks. Hopefully that wasn't a foreshock. It doesn't look like this right now. But of course, the geological question that keeps arising, and that's equally as important as the damage reports that we're getting from Peru right now. This earthquake does not appear to be the classic offshore Peru megathrust event, right? Of course, the magnitude's not big enough, but no subduction zone earthquake, Pacific Ring of Fire, we know that. Instead, it appears to be a shallow crustal earthquake inside the Andes, so beneath the Mantaro Valley region. That is critical because inland crustal quakes can focus the damage directly into the towns and into the villages. And that's what has happened here right now. The likely source, the way I see it right now, the fault that is there is the Mantaro Valley fault system. It's possibly related to the Altos del Mantaro zone or a nearby connected crustal fault. So the exact fault has not yet been officially confirmed, but the location, if we look at that, it strongly suggests to us that this was a local Andean fault rupture rather than distant offshore event. So that I think is already sure. And that also explains why that magnitude is causing such alarming reports right now. So a lot of people hear, oh, magnitude 5+ and assume like moderate damage at most, right? But it depends on the country. I mean, in Japan, yeah, that's definitely true. But again, magnitude alone does not tell us the whole story. If we have a shallow earthquake that is striking vulnerable adobe communities at close range, it can be far more destructive than even a larger event that is occurring deep underground and far offshore. So tonight, several warning signs are already visible from these earthquakes. We do have reports of the collapsed homes. We get the first videos in, reports of injured people, reports of trapped individuals, some reports that individuals are lost. There's a report of power outage in Chongos Bajo, and there are appeals for urgent support from people, locals from the affected area. Some messages are even claiming fatalities among people and animals. So those reports still need full confirmation, of course. So let's treat them carefully for now, and let's hope and pray that this is not true. But they just show how severe the fear and the damage, well, let's say the fear is, and the damage, how severe it might be in this zone around the epicenter. We will get more videos and eyewitness material. Probably when I'm done recording this and I'm editing, I will have more videos for you. You see them right now in the background. The quake was felt during a public show. Reports say a house collapsed in Huancan. Residents across the Huancayo area describe, they say, a major scare as the shaking was spreading through the valley. What will happen next? So that's very, very important because, of course, the first priority is search. It's nighttime, that's not helping, right? Rescue, damage assessment in the hardest hit communities. Second important thing is monitoring for additional aftershocks, right? Get people out of vulnerable structures so that not more can happen. More shaking could further weaken already damaged homes or walls. And the third important point is determining exactly which fault broke beneath the Mantaro Valley, because that will tell us more about the ongoing risk in this part of Junin. And what I've been waiting for, the confirmation that I needed before I tell you this, is the beach ball that we're getting from the USGS. This is already scientists reviewed. USGS moment tensor confirms that this was a shallow reverse fault or thrust fault earthquake inside the Andes. It was not strike slip, not normal faulting, of course, not a volcanic event, and not a rupture of the deep Nazca slab, the Nazca plate that is in this area, of course. So magnitude 5.5 USGS, moment tensor, depth 11.5 kilometers, 7.1 miles. Double couple component, 90% faulting type, almost pure reverse thrust movement, and the compression direction approximately east-northeast to west-southwest. So very high, 90% double couple value means the seismic waves are overwhelmingly consistent with ordinary tectonic slip on a fault, so not an explosion, landslide, or underground collapse that could have caused an earthquake, a tremor. So this strongly points to the Altos del Mantaro fault zone. This fault runs approximately northwest-southeast, dips towards the southwest. It's a reverse fault, and it lies along the southwestern edge of the Mantaro Basin. So this earthquake has the signature of crustal shortening. That means the crust was compressed horizontally. Southwest dipping fault could no longer remain locked, so it was slipping. It was generating the earthquake. One block was thrust upwards across the other. Very shallow, only 7 miles beneath the surface. Strong seismic energy reached nearby communities within seconds. And if you look at the beach ball, the blue and white symbol tells us how the crust moved. The pattern shows reverse faulting. The Andes were squeezed together by this earthquake, and one section of crust was basically forced upwards. So this was not merely a moderate earthquake beneath Peru. The fault analysis indicates that a known compression fault zone beside the Mantaro Valley may have suddenly released, and the communities that are sitting above it, they're telling us the consequences right now. It's coming in. It's a developing story. I'll keep you updated, guys, but you have to see what happened in China. This is not a normal mountain collapse, because what came down there, the boulders, or I don't know, I don't even want to call that rocks, because this is a mountain, pieces larger than a multi-story apartment building came down, and they stayed that big. So the search and rescue has now the problem. It has buried at least 10 multi-story apartment buildings underneath. So how do you do search and rescue with something like this sitting on top? So they have an interesting way to solve that problem, and the images are just mind-blowing, guys. So if you haven't seen it yet, you have to see that force of nature. And stay safe, guys. Always look around. Mother Nature is active every day. And I see you in a second if you click here. Bye-bye.